Hey everybody, welcome back to a really quick episode of FSi DFS Fantasy NASCAR picks for Xfinity. I'm your host Mike31. I was going to do a speculation video, but I figured why not wait and get the actual data for you. So it's a plate race, and not plate race anymore, super speedway, 3 rules here. First of all, you want to stack the back. Second of all, you don't want to use your whole bankroll on this. So it's a high variance sport, and these tracks are even more high variant. You have some winners that are surprising and some top 10 people that you never expect. So play lightly. It's hard, even with the strategies we're going to give you, to nail these ones. So cash is almost impossible to play, and GPPs are almost scratch-off lottery tickets. And third, don't feel that you have to use your whole salary. If you have a line that has $10,000 or $20,000 left on the table and you really like it, play it. Don't try to trade up to get better drivers because it doesn't really matter. So in stacking the back, we really want to, usually the general rule in Cup is 20th on back. There's more disparity in how bad some of the equipment is in Xfinity, so you can probably go 15 on back for that. That's how it mostly works. There have been some times where groups have linked up and it's been a train and nobody can pass anybody, and it's been a parade and very super boring until the end, but most races are not like that. Teams tend to work together. Manufacturers tend to work together. I've color-coded them to try to help you out. You will see 3 guys that are drivers that are in red on the right-hand side. They all failed tech. They have to go through a pass-through penalty, which would be detrimental on most tracks. But in this track, if they all hook up and can keep the average speed, and even if they fall a lap down, they should easily be able to get it back. If they fall multiple laps down, that could be catastrophic to them. But they could avoid some big accidents, and that could pay dividends. So we'll have to see what happens there. So let's just break down the field really quick. Looking at the top 10, you probably don't want to play anybody there. I think Austin Hill will still be chalky just because he has won 2 races, and he has finished 3 out of 4 of them pretty well. And he's been done really well on other plate tracks also. But I think he's a GPP only. The only ones that I would consider playing is him, Klingerman, Trevor Bayne, Haley, and Jeb Burton if in cash, or not cash, in GPP. I probably would not play anybody too far above 15th in cash. I'll get to Allgaier in just 1 second. So those are the ones that I think could potentially win it. So I'm fading Creed, Smith, Hemrick, and Nemechek. I just feel that they're too volatile. I look at their DNF rates for the ones that we have, and they're all pretty high. Creed 75%, Sammy Smith 50%, Chandler Smith, I don't have race data for him. Well, he's raced once and he's finished, but 12th. But still, I'm not interested there. Hemrick's DNF rate is 40, and Nemechek's DNF rate is 50. Going outside the top 10 here, Cole Custer, I think he's GPP, almost has a 50% DNF rate, so that's kind of scary. Justin Allgaier, I think, is the first cash play that I would consider this high up. I know 12th is kind of risky, but I think he can actually win this one. He's raced here 25 times. He's had 11 top 10s. He's got a 32% DNF rate, but he is one that likes to get out there and actually stay out front and not hide in the back, and actually is usually in a good position to win this. His teammates, Barry and Mayer, their DNF rates are a little bit more scary here. I think they'll have high ownership based on their namesake and current form, especially with Mayer, but I'm not interested in cash. Joey Gase is starting way too far forward, and 15th, he's a fade. So now we come to the sweet spot. Hurst, Jones, and Gralla. They're all volatile drivers on usual tracks that we kind of think are usually GPP only because they find trouble. But here, I think they tend to understand this and they succeed. All of them have 2 top 5s at least. 2 of them have 4 top 10s, and their DNF rates are under 33% or lower. So I think I really like them. It's a nice sweet spot if you're comfortable starting your lineups this far up. There's 3 great cash plays right there. Whether or not Fredo, I don't trust their cars, and so they're GPPs. Then the next one, Josh Williams has always been good on super speedways. Brad Moffitt has been good on super speedways. Parker Russell has not had much experience, but he did really well here in the Daytona 500. He finished 4th, and he's this Jordan Anderson team overall, even though they all were cheaters and failed inspection 3 times. Three of those cars are going to be working together in the group. They'll finally eventually get to the back, and then they'll probably work together to get their way up through the field. So I think they're decent. I think the having to do the pit thing and be away from the pack can actually help them a little bit here. So wrestle off, I think that helps also mitigate the inexperience. And then throw Kyle Sieg in there. Also, the Sieg cars have been definitely solid. Blaine Perkins in GPP starting way too far forward. You all know my take on Joe Graff Jr. He's way too volatile, but this is the type of race where he could sneakily somehow end up in the top 10 if he can keep it clean, even though his DNF rate on these tracks in 8 races is 62%, which is probably one of the worst ones in the field next to Sheldon Creed, which is 75%. So the 100% don't look at those. They don't have any data on this track. So, but Joe Graff Jr., I'm giving you GPP here. I don't think I'm playing you, but I'm going to not say you're a fade for once. So don't let me down. We'll start there. Jeffrey Earnhardt and Ryan Ellis have always, in these Alpha Prime cars, have been good on these types of tracks. So I can play them in cash. Colin Mosaic, everything says that this should be a good play. The Toyotas work really well together, both Gibbs and Hunt, so the 5 of them should work together, probably be out up towards the front of the field. Can he stay with them? I don't know. I just, it's a GPP. I don't think I can play him cash, but if I'm stacking the 5 Toyotas, I think you can put them in the lineup. I didn't check that mathematically. Then I think he's better as part of that stack than a one-off in your lineup. Caesar, I think Alpha Prime, again, I like all 3 of these drivers here. I think you can play him in cash. They could be low owned. He's had 10 races here, but he's got a 70% DNF rate, so maybe I should just switch that one to a GPP. So we'll do that. I won't do that live here, but just keep in mind here that the other Alpha Prime ones are good, but Caesar, I think I'm moving to a GPP now that I see in 10 races. Yep, 10 races, no top 10s, 70% DNF rate. Its average finish is 28, so that's not that bad. That means that, like, if you racked, it was, like, close to the end of the race. So, I mean, he probably still got some place differential points. So I'll let you decide on that one. Alex Gannett is a Canadian guy with very little experience. His race once, wrecked really early, finished 38th. So dead last. I'm not interested in him until I see more experience on these types of track. Jeremy Clements is going to be my first prime here. He has always been driven very well on super speedways. 26 races at Daytona. He has 1 win, 3 top 5s, a 23% DNF rate. With that many races, that is outstanding. Really like him. Prime play for me. Greg Alding, also, he has had 6 races here, 2 top 10s, led some laps, 22 overall, and he's finished 4 out of the 6 races. So I think, that's definitely cash, definitely place differential there. JJ Ailey, ton of experience, 18 races, 3 top 10s, 1 top 5, only a 27% DNF rate, 19 overall finish, 21 overall finish when all plate tracks combined. I think that's really good. If the car can stay together, I think, and these super speedways aren't as demanding on brakes and stuff as some of the other short tracks and road courses are, so I think he'll be fine there. You can just run wide open. If there's no mechanical issues, we should be good. Natalie Decker's GPP. They used to call her Natalie Wrecker. 24th average finish, but she's had some really bad races, and this Emma and Gase car kind of concerns me, so she's the reason that I wouldn't sit there and stack. So I think probably the most popular lineup is going to be stacking 32, 33, 34, 36, 37, 38. And we'll see if I'm right on that. But, it may be stacking anywhere within the 30s range, and probably avoiding some of the guys that I talked about would be decent for cash, but just be warned that you might have a bunch of duplicate lineups and they might not even cash. I've seen that happen before where everybody ran the same lineup and it just neutralized everything and everybody tied and it was just in the middle and it was just out of cash and it was very frustrating. Garrett Smith, then we're going to give the other prime play to here. He has had 7 races, 2 top 10s, 28% DNF rate, which is good. Jordan Anderson, Don't look at his statistics here, but in Cup he was really good, and in Truck he runs really well on plate tracks. He owns the team. He's in the 27, which booed Burton to the 22 just to make sure Jordan Anderson would qualify here. He wasn't even allowed to run a qualifying lap. That's why he's so far back here, but he'll be fine. So I really like him. And then Ryan Sieg, again, didn't get to qualify because of tech issues. Well, I don't know if he was forbidden from qualifying like Anderson was, but I think he was definitely, maybe he just said, we're not going to risk it. We're already starting in the back. Might as well just, so I don't know what the story is there because my DUR didn't record practice and qualifying for some reason. But I know he's starting in the back, and I know he's good at these tracks. So that's what I got for you. Again, stick to the back. Take some shots up top in GPPs, but I really like that range of Herbst, Jones, Gralla, and then that secondary range of Williams, Moffitt, Kyle Sieg there to try to round out your lineup. So again, play lightly. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat below, but I'm going to get a sign off here so I can be able to get this up to you. So if these videos help you, as always, you've watched it, that's the first step. If you want to go a little bit further, like the video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and share with your friends. So thank you for watching. I'm going to end